Hi, this is Drew with Finale. In the previous video, we created an HBS file with one of each effect that we wanted to save and export from Finale Business that we call Noah's Ark. In this video, we're going to set up the latest version of Finale 3D and import the Noah's Ark HBS file. To get started, we want to make sure that we have the latest version of Finale 3D. To do that, we'll visit finale3d.com and go to the Downloads menu at the top center and then Download Application. On the Downloads page, the latest release of Finale 3D will be listed at the top. Older versions of Finale 3D will be listed underneath. If you're interested in release notes for older versions, click on the plus icon to the left of the release name. To download the latest release, use the blue download button at the right. There is only one download for each release of Finale 3D, regardless of whether you're a hobbyist or a pro user. The version of Finale 3D that runs when you launch the software purely depends on the license that's tied to your account. Once the download's complete, use the installer to update the software or install for the first time. Alright, now that we've downloaded and installed the latest version of Finale 3D, we'll go ahead and log into the software. The first thing we'll see at login is this account information dialog box. This includes a bunch of good information about the installation and the hardware in your computer, as well as the license that you have running. The first thing is the email address. This is just the username of the account being used to run Finale 3D on this computer, as well as the license type. This is Finale 3D Pro. It may also say Finale 3D Hobbyist, or if you don't have a license tied to the email address, which is your account, then it may say trial, that is running in a trial mode. Over here we see the valid through dates for the license itself and for the offline credentials. Offline credentials are used anytime you log into Finale in offline mode, which you do by unchecking the Sync with Network box in the login dialog. One great feature of Finale 3D is that you can add soundtracks and render videos in offline mode, unlike Finale Business. The next thing we see is the build version. We see this matches the version we downloaded, so we know it's the latest release. We have some information about the graphics card in our computer and a machine ID. To go past this, we just click OK. Since we signed in online mode, Finale will now download any updates to inventories. Awesome. Okay, this brings us to the main interface. We have three windows. The window at the left-hand side that takes the left-hand half of the screen is the design window. If you hear me refer to the design window, it means this window here that includes the grass, the sky, and this is the area where the simulations of the fireworks will appear. The design window also has the timeline, which is down here. The timeline shows the chronological order of the show, and if you had a soundtrack, it would appear down here on the timeline. Right now the timeline's empty because we don't have any fireworks in this show. The design window also includes the effects palette. This box here in the upper right hand corner is the effects palette, and it is showing us a collection of effects, and it offers some filter and search functionality to be able to select effects that we might want to add to the show. In the upper right hand corner, this is the upper right hand window here, this is the effects window, and the effects window shows us a lot more detail about the effects and the collections of effects that we have available to us. Right now it's just showing the generic effects that are listed by default when you open Finale 3D. In the upper right hand corner here we have what we call the blue drop down list. We always refer to this as the blue drop down list because it's the only blue drop down list in Finale 3D. So what you would use the blue drop down list for is switching between collections of effects. So right now we're viewing, there's a dot here because we're viewing the generic effects, but you could switch between per show effects, which are any effects that are in the show that we have open, or my effects, which is like my fireworks in Finale Business, or do a sync with network to save any changes to my fireworks if we had made changes, or we can use this function down here, effect files, to load, save, or create a new offline effect FDB format effect database. It's like my fireworks, but envision it, instead of being online, being saved locally on your computer. So the blue drop-down list is used to switch between libraries in the effect window. The script window is in the lower right. The script window displays the lines of script or items that are in your show design. There's nothing in the window at the moment because there aren't any items in the show. Alright, with that brief introduction into the user interface, let's give it a try and import our Noah's Ark HBS. To do that, we'll go to the design window, which is the window on the left hand side here. We'll go to the file menu, we'll go to import effects from HBS file, and we get three options. For this example, to keep it simple, I'm just going to import into My Effects. My Effects is similar to My Fireworks and Finale Business, and that's where the effects came from. So in my example, this probably makes the most sense. Finale opens a dialog that tells us that it's going to look for an HBS file, which will import into Finale 3D from Finale Business. Click Continue. This is a description of My Effects. It just says My Effects is your personal effect list, saved to your account when you sync to network. So this is important. We'll want to make sure that after we import the effects that we sync with network to make sure that those changes are saved and the effects are backed up to the Finale 3D servers. Click OK. This will open a dialog to allow us to select the file. We'll select the Noah's Ark HBS file we made in the previous video and click Open. It's letting us know that it might take a minute or two to import the effects. The actual time really depends on how many effects are in your Noah's Ark. Click Continue. Okay, great. Success. Total rows imported, 21. So Finale 3D was able to successfully import all 21 items from my Noah's Ark HBS. We'll click OK. And the My Effects collection is now listed in the effects window. Before we were looking at generic effects, and now we're looking at My Effects. The next step is to organize our work area to make it a bit easier to work with the effects and tune the simulations as needed. The effects editor includes 36 total columns or fields of data that can be entered, 14 of which are visible in the default view. However, for the project we're working on right now, which is to edit and tune simulations, we don't need some of the columns that we have visible. To hide a column such as used, I can right-click and do hide this column. I also want to hide quota, available, color, and subtype, so I can repeat that process. Just right-click, hide the column. Right-click, hide this column. Repeat over here a couple times. As you can see, each column we remove makes a little bit more space for the columns that we do need. I'm going to go ahead and add a column that's not visible right now that I need for this project. To do that, I'll go to the gear icon and go to Hide or Unhide Column, and then scroll down the list and find Fuse Delay. Perfect. Now, one thing that would make it a little bit more useful is to have the columns in a certain order. To do that, I can bump a column to the left or right by using the right-click menu. So the first thing I'll do is move type to the right. I'll right-click on the type column header and click Move this column to the right. Next, I'll move Fuse Delay to the left one more spot, and then I'll move Pre-Fire to the right twice. The last thing I want to do is adjust the column widths. I can do that by grabbing right between two column headers and adjusting. I'm just going to adjust so it makes sense based on the contents of each column. Perfect. The last step is to save the layout so that we can use it at a later time. To save a layout, I'll go to the gear icon, do Save Current Table Layout as Template, and then do New Layout Template. I'll just give it a name of Editing, hit Enter to save. Layout templates are saved along with each show file, so to make it easy to use this template the next time I launch Finale 3D, I'll save the show. To save the show, I'll go to the Design window, File, and then Save. I'll give the show a name, and then click Save. Now the next time we launch Finale 3D, we can open this show, and then it will contain the layout we just created. That's it, we're all set. In the next video, we'll go through the process of editing and tuning the simulations in our Noah's Ark.